Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me, Zero, here with.
Dedicate.
And Rai. Today we're talking about Kamen Rider Zi-O, episode 36. That's it. Huh. Feels farther along than this with the whole watches thing. Uh, so, we're picking up where we left off. A rider from space, Kamen Rider Ginga, has appeared and he wipes the floor with our heroes. Who are at a loss about what to do. And then the Time Jackers show up and say, hey, he's a problem for us as well. And they pitch a temporary alliance where Schwartz is clearly going to betray them.
Honestly, at the end of the last episode, I felt kind of disappointed because it felt like it had a really strong start with the Kiva stuff. And then this dude just shows up out of nowhere and it's like, oh great, they're gonna try to sell more toys. But Ginga's fights were pretty good in this episode. He's kind of interesting.
Yeah, agreed. Like, Schwartz is a little too on the nose. But then again, you had like really fun little moments where it's like even the other Time Jackers kind of get to make fun of Schwartz a little bit because like another Kiva basically acts like Schwartz. So Schwartz has to put up with somebody as as obnoxious as him. So that was pretty fun. Um, Yeah, but I agree. Like that Kiva episode was like really good, and then they jammed like Ginga. Like Ginga is cool and all, but like honestly, I wish this one was the Kabuto. Like instead of Ginga, I wish Kabuto's plotline would have shown up. But like it seems like they have a really interesting idea of what they want to do with the Kabuto one. For and they're gonna hold that off for the next two-parter.
Yep.
But as for this, yeah, this was pretty fun, honestly. Um, Yeah, the first one was, I would say, a little bit better than this because this second one's mostly a lot of just fights and it's like Ginga just kicking everyone's ass. And like it's cool and all that the villains and heroes form like an alliance and all, but like it doesn't feel like it's important. Like it's not like X8 or something where it's like, all right, like the Bugsters and the Riders are teaming up to fight like Kronos or something, you know, like it's not as impactful as it should be, especially considering like Gates. I mean, like at least Gates and well, I guess Gates the only one who resists for the most part. But so like technically, like most of these people hate each other,
Right.
so like they shouldn't be just like casually teaming up, right? So there should have been some more dynamic there, but again, with the like Kiva stuff also going on, like I felt like they should have had like the Kiva two-parter and then the Ginga two-parter with them teaming up and would have given them better plot lines for character development, but I guess they just don't have the episode count left for that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I will say on Vashi's behalf, uh, he really didn't get a Kiba vibe from this episode. Uh, Especially compared to the last one where it had that heavy Kiva feeling to it at the start.
Yeah, I did get it like towards the end when someone dies, but
Yeah.
yeah, the first part was really well done.
Right, I agree. The first episode definitely felt like it had Kiva's influence, and then aside from like yeah the last like 5 minutes or so, I mean like that's not true. Like another Kiva running around like in old Kiva locations with like Otoya's violin playing, like that is fucking bullshit. All right, stop doing that. It's fucking like really getting to me because I'm like, oh no, I remember how that character's plotline ends. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. So like, stop using that song. Um, but
That
Because
same one violin song.
yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh, I've heard this a million times. Yeah, I've heard it a million times, except like now I remember what happens at the end. Yeah, I'm talking super vaguely, but if you've seen Kiva, it's pretty fucking obvious, you know how
If you've
that plot
seen
line ends?
any episode of Kiva, it's that one violin song you heard.
Right, I know, but like that character is, well, I mean, the last time this plays with that character, and it's like this really intense moment. So every time I think of this stupid song, I think of that. So I'm like, oh no, you fucking piece of shit. Like, don't use this song. You know, it's too important. Um, but aside from that, like the Kiva like locations were nice, and like like the church and the bridge and the freaking like restaurant and things like that. I was like, oh, that's nice. Right, I don't remember. Is like, okay, did Kiva have a thing where the monsters would kill people with specific items?
No.
Because I feel, see, this is weird because I feel like the whole reason she's killing people with fucking manhole covers, um, is like maybe that's a thing from Kiva, but I'm like, I don't remember this.
No,
So it's like,
they would just
why is this a
swallow your
running?
soul.
No, I got that part, but like, did they have like a specific weapon? Like the only one I can think of is like Spider with the puppets, right?
Mm.
But I'm like, that's like one weirdo out of like all the weirdos.
Yeah, no, like I'm thinking about Rook right now, and I don't recall him using any weapon other than his fists.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I meant like more like they just had like a killing thing. Like it's fine.
Uh,
Um, and the other thing is like God damn
maybe
it.
they all did have
Yeah,
a weapon. Uh, like
I
okay,
don't know.
so I have the page open, and like I'm clicking on random fan guy here. Prawn fan guy had he had a halberd. Sheep fan guy
Yeah, because the thing is like I
some kind
remember
of
like there's
gun.
the frog guy who has his violin thing. No, I mean like normal everyday items. But whatever, it's
No,
fine.
I don't think they
I
had
mean,
that.
yeah, there's that part that's a little weird, and then the other thing is like you have like them using speed forms and Basha is barely hitting them. I'm like, this is nonsense. Um, like explicitly, the first time you see is Basha form is like he was fighting a dude who's basically using like speed equivalent to a worm, which is interesting because that's like a Kabuto thing, which is next episode. But like he's using like super speed, and Basha can just like fucking shoot him out. Like his shots can track and all that. So I'm like, that's nonsense. Like there's no way he should be missing, right? So it doesn't even make any sense to their like actual capabilities. I'm like, all right, maybe if you're saying like Gates is using his speed form, that might be a little bit. But like some random speed forms, like Shinobi should not be able to fucking get close to Basha. Like, yeah, he's fast, but like in Kiva, like that form is capable of shooting down speedster. So it doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Ninjas
those
can
were
like
like the two.
teleport and shit.
Yeah, I know, but so what? Like Kiva, literally everybody's a fucking monster, so they all have like superhuman senses, right? Um, Hell, even if they didn't, the weapons. Oh, it's fine. It's those were like the two major things that were like. I'm like, is this like a Kiva thing, or did he fuck something up there?
I
But
think
besides that, like yeah, everything else Kiva wise was pretty on point. Um,
yeah.
oh, we'll get to the last part. I'll save that
They
for
did
later.
like they did a lot of good Kiva stuff, but they also like deviated from it a bit to fit in line with Zi-O. So I would say like that would explain the whole like Basha's accuracy thing. Uh, so uh, together the alliance like they go and confront what's her face, another Kiva, uh,
Yuka.
Yuka. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and ask for her help in fighting Ginga. Uh, and she makes them bow before them, and Schwartz has to kind of force Aura onto her knees because she hates Yuka, and Sogo and Tsukiyomi have to like shove Gaze's face into the ground.
I love how like that was such a relatively fun scene. I especially love how it was. It's like, oh man, nice style for like a demon crit
Right?
and stuff, and
He's
he's
like
totally going
impressed.
for it. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's
And then
pretty
she
fun.
calls them all riffraff, and laughs
Says,
at it.
yeah, 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 and then she basically goes like, fuck off, like I changed my mind.
You're all
I'm
beneath me.
like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
yeah. Thank you
that
for
was
affirming that
fucking
you're all beneath me. Goodbye.
yeah, that was so good. Holy shit, that's such an awesome moment. Any thoughts on this, Seki?
Yeah, just overall, Yuko's been probably the best another rider uh, in terms of actually trying to become a king or queen, whereas everyone else has just kind of been like really self-centered. I guess they want their revenge or they're jealous or something. So yeah, it was fun watching her interact with pretty much everyone, which is good.
And then Sogo like asks Yuka like, "Oh, do you remember me?" She's like, "Yeah, I remember you." And so back at the clock shop, Sogo is like getting all giddy, like a child, about how he's reunited with his first crush. And to continue the cat puns, Sogo is drinking a glass of milk through a straw
Right?
for some reason.
I don't know, safety first, whatever. But what? uh, I mean, maybe it's because it's supposed to be like, oh, it's a childish crush, so like
Yeah, okay.
drinking from a carton type thing. But I love how like his uncle like's totally like super excited. It's like, oh wow, what a fortunate meeting. And then he walks away and he still makes cat puns. I was like, oh my god, he's so like, he knows how stupid this is, but he's going with it. He's so good, man. He's such a great supporting character.
Yep, and little did they know she's actually a psychotic murderer, so that makes it even better.
Gaze decides he's gonna go investigate her past, and Sogo says, "Oh hey, since you're going, look into her boyfriend." Uh, Meanwhile, Yuka continues her revenge spree, while Ginga just goes on a rampaging spree. Uh, he is described as just like power incarnate. Waz ends up teaming up with the Time Jackers to actually fight him. You know, that thing that they said they would do, and yet Waz is the only one pulling through on it. Sogo does show up late, but still.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, well, her not giving a shit is because, like, again, in keeping with her character, she basically denies reality and thinks whatever the hell she thinks is the most important thing. So she's like, "Oh, that guy, like, fuck him. He doesn't matter." Even though literally everyone's saying, like, "Are you stupid? Like, he's gonna end the world. We have
Like,
to stop this guy." Right? Um, and then she like still ignores him. And then they fight Ginga, and like Schwartz is there. All right, as so I guess the Time Jackers are never gonna get any monster forms, which means they cannot be the final villain at all,
we
right?
haven't rolled out Schwartz.
Yeah, maybe. But the problem is like if Schwartz has some weird monster form, that means Tsukiyomi is gonna have one because they seem
No,
like
no,
they're
no,
from the
no,
same
no.
time.
We haven't ruled out the possibility that Schwartz turns himself into another rider.
Yeah, maybe possible. Um, yeah, I guess. But then they're just like walking around with like I guess time space key blast. Like what the hell was that shit?
I
And
don't
torches
know
of fire.
what is any of Gay's revive.
That's a good point. Yeah, and then so they're fighting, and they figure out Ginga is pure power incarnate. I'm like, what are you, the Phoenix Force now? And then it's like, oh yeah, he's solar powered. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing.
No,
but
it makes
but
sense. Space.
he's in space, right? The sun never goes down, right? And then
Just
like,
constant
oh, at
UV
first,
radiation.
right, exactly. And then he gets like cocooned into like basically he gets like a cocoon form, and then it says like Kiva, and I'm like, oh my god, are we doing that stupid like
Oh,
space fungi theory? But it's like no. But
look,
I'm like, oh man, I really wanted that stupid space fungi theory to be correct.
like he says Kiva, and I was just like, I had to do a double take and pause the episode and be like, I'm sorry? What's
Yeah,
about to
I think what
happen
happened.
here?
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like, wait, what? He's a fungi? Right, but I think what happened is that's just a J card, so it's like leading the audio, but it's like, oh, that's so bad. It just makes him feel like a whole different character right there. But but I would have fucking loved it if they ran with my dumbass space fungi theory. And if anybody who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, it's like, all right, so the time original Ixa exists is the
Hmm.
time Kamen Rider RX exists. Yeah, Black RX exists. So my stupid theory is because in RX there's like their villains are from like a different dimension, and like some of them use UFOs and stuff, and they escape.
Oh,
Right, right. So uh, the UFOs escape, but in the ending of Kiva, future Kiva comes back, and they're like, "Oh look, it's Neofungi,"
right.
and they have a UFO. Right, and then there's this one episode of Kiva where like humans are like enhancing like fungi, like this one fungi lady. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck was that? That is never explained. So I'm like, all right, so there's this weird UFO thing in the future with fungi, and Kiva. I mean, like original Ixa and RX were active like canonically in the same timeline in the same area, right? And RX had these UFO guys. So I'm like, are they the same dudes? And then like this guy shows up and he's from space, and then they had that cut and it said Kivat. I'm like, holy shit, they're confirming my stupid theory.
Okay, Zero, you want to know why your theory is correct? It's
Why?
What?
because Waz Ginga finally defeats another Kiva, and the watch gets smashed. But you're supposed to
Oh,
need the ride watch, the proper ride watch, to defeat the other riders. So maybe he
Oh.
is a Fangire, and that's how he defeated her.
And like
oh man, that would.
the only other time where we saw some another rider get defeated without the proper watch was another Ryuga. But Sogo used like his own mirror world counterpart watch, so you could kind of make an argument that it counts because of Ryuga's unique circumstances.
Right. And then that's what I was thinking. I'm like, they've become really nebulous on how these like watch things work. Um, Especially because it's like, you know what the weirdest thing is, right? If like space fungi exists, like neofungi, right? They're supposed to be weirdos with UFO spaceships, right? Therefore, they live in space. And I'm like, at some point, this runs into the Phoenix problem, right? And this is really funny because I'm like, Phoenix problem. Which one? Like X-Men or like Wizard? And by the time like actual Phoenix from Wizard gets released, he might actually just be on like Phoenix X-Men level power. So Who knows? We're never gonna address that, are we?
No.
That like the fucking destroyer of the world is just constantly dying and reviving in the sun until he comes back and like kills everyone. Because
Don't
like
worry, a new timeline is being born.
that's so stupid. Like he's the perfect fucking crossover guy. Like why isn't he? Okay, that's not true. His damn suit has shown up in crossovers sometimes. But it's like the early suits. I'm like, that's not even a powered up form. That's nothing, right? Like
Because they
literally,
just
he should.
sometimes they just use whatever suit is in good condition in the locker.
I know, which is really sad because I'm like, realistically, he should be like you should have a Rider Tyson when Phoenix comes back. You know, because he's that level of power. Like this is literally like you could literally do Kamen Rider Black again with the way like his final villain was, where it's like, oh, I just need to like get a couple more forms and I'll be strong enough to conquer the galaxy. You know, that's why he needs like new forms. Like that's the whole reason of like why Kamen Rider Black happens is he needs a new host, right? Like the power gets transferred and it gets stronger and stronger every time. So I'm like, yeah, you're basically on that level of power. But like he could basically be the villain of another series if they wanted to. I mean, they're probably never gonna, but it would have been great for a movie. Anyway, we're way the
Uh,
fuck off topic now.
yeah. So during the fight, Yuka gets attacked and she is ignoring it as she said she would. So Sogo takes the hit for her. And she gives him a band-aid. She goes down to help him and gives him a band-aid like she did in the past. They have a short conversation uh, where Sogo tells her about how he wants to be king, and so she's like, well, then be my king. Uh, and Sogo's like, hey, how's about you stop being evil? How about that? And she says, yeah, sure, whatever. And then, what's his name? Jiro shows up, and we were talking about this last week about whether or not that was the real Jiro, the like wolf following around. It is, and he's like, and he tries telling Sogo like, you should probably not get involved with this woman, and gets into a short fight with Sogo, but it's mostly just to lure him away from her so that he can give him the Kiva watch.
Honestly, that kind of like, I mean, Jiro kicking Sogo's ass in base form is fine because like Jiro's actually a pretty decent fighter. And Sogo base form isn't even that strong, so that's fine. What kind of annoys me is like, okay, literally, well, that's not true. One more person shows up from Kiva, but basically, literally, no one important shows up from Kiva besides Jiro. I'm like, Jiro's cool and all, and it makes sense how he can keep showing up. But like, there's so much Sogo could learn from the cast of Kiva, and like, none of them showed up. And I'm like, ah, that's so sad. You know, that kind of sucks. I
Should have
mean,
just brought back
Jiro.
Otoya.
Just, no. Okay, there's the one guy you don't bring back, right?
Why
Otoya would
not?
be such a bad. He's such a bad influence. He would be such a bad influence. Okay, like the only lesson Otoya could give is like follow your heart, kid. I'm like, yeah, the guy running around saying he wants to be king already knows that lesson. You know, so like Otoya's the one guy
Oh,
you
you want to
don't
be
want to bring
king?
back.
Then you should be treated like a king. And then he takes Sogo to a maid cafe.
Oh my. Actually, he's from 1986. Those didn't exist. But
No, but there
yeah,
was that
yeah,
episode where his spirit possessed Wataru's body, and so
yeah.
he
Yes,
went to,
yes.
and he's like, "What a great era we live in."
Yeah, I know he's such a trash guy. Oh, it's so good. Um, but like, I don't know, man. Like any of the future Like any of the 2008 characters would have been really good to give them some kind of message. I mean, like the 1986 ones would have been good, but like I feel like there've been enough similar enough characters that would have given them the message that they've run into.
I guess
But like
that's
the
kind of
2000,
why you get Jiro, who was in both eras.
yeah, I guess. But like the 2008 characters, I think would have had like a much more impactful talk with Zi-O or Togo or anyone. I don't know, Tsukiyomi or Gates or Was. You know, like anybody because they had to live up through like so much stuff, right? That they went through. Um, I mean, Jiro, I guess, does give him one point of advice, which is like, heart, basically like heartbreak just makes you stronger and stuff like that. Yeah, Decade, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I mean, Ixa could have showed up and said, like, this chick is evil, you need to kill her. Before something bad
Yeah.
happens.
Please return that life to God.
Yeah.
um, well, no, the funniest thing is the Ixa suit could have shown up. It could have just been a new Ixa. Because
Jiro
it's been
could have
like,
worn it because he's done so before.
that's true, that's true. Um, because like it's been 15 years. Hell, you know what would have been cool if like freaking like yeah, like Nago is Megumi's child. You know, probably a daughter because we're like the Ixa female user bloodline. That would have been cool to see the third user of Ixa. Well, third female user from that bloodline. Well, actually, technically the fourth because like Yuri's mom made Ixa, so like the fourth maybe. Okay, whatever. The point is, it would have been cool to see like, um, Nago and Yuri's daughter, I guess, being new Ixa, but we're never gonna get that, which kind of sucks.
Alright. So, in the present day, Tsukiyomi tracked down Yuko's old boyfriend Tetsuya, who is with his fiance. They're about to get married, and they've hidden themselves away from Yuko because she is an extremely jealous and violent woman who believes her own lies. And as they tell the story, Gaze in the past watches it play out. The story of how Yuko killed Tetsuya's first girlfriend with a manhole cover. And this is where the Kiva kicks in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, as soon as they cut to that lake, I'm like, oh no, bad shit's gonna happen because this is a Kiva episode. Oh fuck, that was pretty rough too. Like with the fucking manhole cover, holy shit, you psycho. Um, yeah, fuck. That was such a Kiva moment too.
Uh, the people that Yugo attacked who got away have met up with each other to talk about how they're being attacked, and Yugo's like, oh cool, you're all right here, and kills them all at once. And Sogo comes up and goes, what the fuck? And then she just kind of he's like, I thought you said you weren't gonna get revenge anymore. She's kind of like, well, it's not my fault. I was cursed because I was born on a rainy day and it's raining right now.
That is such a
It's like, what is your problem?
well. The thing is, like, okay, right. You know how I was like, oh, Kiryu is almost a pathological liar, but he's not. This is what the actual definition of that looks like, where it's like you're so in your own head that you believe your own lies so much that you think they're real. So everything that happens is not your fault. Every crazy shit, like you can spin into, oh, it's not my fault because the world is fucked up because the way I was born, like all this shit, and it's like it feeds into this kind of personality of this. I mean, like it's really on point, for a character like this because I mean, like, okay, most people like that don't murder people, but like, some of them do. Um, so like, it's really well characterized. Um, but holy shit, that backstory. Um, I mean, I guess like it's Kiva, so it's gonna fucking rip your heart out anyway. Because that's one of the things about Kiva is like, yeah, bad shit happens. Everybody doesn't get a happy ending. You just gotta deal with it.
Just gotta move on. Decade?
Don't really have much to say. That you guys haven't said it was all done pretty well. And yeah, the show's gotten pretty dark recently.
So the rain stops and the clouds clear up and Ginga revives and they're like, oh, he's solar powered. Shit. And everyone goes back to fighting him. Sogo nearly gets taken out, but Yuko actually comes in and protects him. With a manhole cover, no less. What is it with her and manhole covers?
I mean, there has to be a reason why this is a running thing with her. Like, I don't remember this being a Kiva thing. Maybe it's a nod to this character thing. I don't know. Maybe they thought it would be a good gimmick, but like, I get it. Maybe it's just foreshadowing because she killed his, like the girlfriend with
That's
the
her
manhole cover.
weapon.
But yeah, as that's her weapon, right? But I'm like, how do you get started with that? I'm like,
Yeah, why
it's
did she pick a manhole cover in the first place?
right. The thing is, like a manhole cover, like those things are solid. Like the whole reason it takes like a fucking metal pry bar to get the damn things off is because they weigh like at least 200 pounds. You can't just fucking run around.
Although I
Like
do.
it is not like a metal trash can. This is not Captain America, like getting his ass kicked in an alley and using that as a shield. Like you cannot wield that as a weapon in real life. Like
I,
maybe you could lift it, but like no way you would have the stamina to keep using it.
I do like the imagery. Like in the past, when she's not a monster, she's like having to lug the manhole cover along on the ground.
Right, right. Um, Here's the problem though. It's like, do their hosts get powered up in human form? I don't know. I mean,
She was
I
lifting the
guess.
manhole covers with ease as a human, so I would say yes.
Yeah, and because another wizard was doing like crazy
Oh yeah, he
magic
was doing
tricks.
actual magic in his human
Yeah.
form. So the
Yeah,
question is,
fair
can a
enough.
fangire lift up a manhole cover? And the answer is yes.
Yes, yes, they can. Um, Vanguard can do like crazy amount of shit because they're spirit vampires, but like okay, part one spirit vampire, part two add whatever the fuck you want. So they have like abilities on top of abilities.
Uh, so with another
Oh,
Kivas.
I
Oh,
kind of like the whole like stained glass thing when she like drains them and
oh
like the
yeah,
victim shatter. I'm like, that's not what happens in Kiva. You kind of just
yeah.
become
That
translucent
I
and you
noticed that
fall
too. It's
over.
like
But I'm like,
that's
it's cool.
not how they die, but you know what? I like the imagery because it reflects
Yeah.
Fangire. Um, so with another Kiva's help, she immobilizes Ginga so that our heroes can all rider kick him in the face at the same time and blow him up. Schwartz uses the excess energy to create a ride watch from him, and Waz immediately steals it.
See, this kind of annoyed me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I saw Waz seeing it, but the problem is like this is literally the strongest ride watch like ever. Literally, all the good guys and all the villains and the monster of the week had to team up to beat this guy. right? And you
Right.
just let like Waz just take it like it's nothing.
Like, I was thinking that too. It's like,
And
you can freeze time, dude.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like you can say like, oh, Waz got away because for the first time you see what it looks like when Waz does his like scarf thing. You see it from a different point of view because it looks like he creates his own like alternate dimension. It just folds away. So I'm like, all right, cool. You can't chase after him, but like exactly, like Schwartz can freeze time. This should be happening.
What was Schwartz's plan, anyways? He can't use regular watches, can he?
I don't know. I mean, like he'll probably figure. Like here's the thing: as long as he has it, he could probably figure out somewhere to use it.
What if they pull, like, a ninja on us, and in the last episode, Schwartz pulls out a ride belt?
Holy shit! Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Um, you know what? To be honest, like where the fuck are the damn belts even coming from?
The future.
Right? Like the future, right? Which means like you could literally just steal it from the future. Or maybe Schwartz built them, or who knows, right? Because okay,
Here's
who
a
the
good.
fuck built the weird robot? Who built them?
Here's my question.
No one knows.
How did Sogo originally get his belt? Because in this timeline, Waz gave him one from the future.
Maybe it was a complete time loop, but like unlikely.
Those things are complicated. Moving on.
I mean, yeah, it's not that bad. Like maybe it's always supposed to happen, but I'm like I don't think so because like White was definitely not supposed to be a thing,
Right, and he brought his belt from his future.
right? So it's like
So our Waz
maybe we'll
uses a belt
figure.
that isn't supposed to exist. I can accept that.
Yeah, which is weird. Like, why does Black Waz still have that belt when that reality got erased?
The already the bleh, the reality did not get erased. It just didn't come true. The events with White Waz still happened in the past. Therefore, the driver still exists.
I guess. To be fair, the show is like not even trying
This
to
show like
justify time travel.
beats time travel science with an aluminum bat.
Pretty much, right? Like it like switches rules so much. Like it's just whatever the hell we want. That's what's happening. Fuck, it's like the Legends of Tomorrow of fucking time travel.
Alright. On to the wedding between Tetsuya and his new girlfriend. And, of course, Yuko crashes it. But, of course, our three heroes were at the cathedral, like, waiting for this. So, henshin and fight. We get some great fight scenes between everyone. Resulting in Sogo taking on another Kiva, but he's unable to bring himself to fight against Yuko, his first crush. So Waz steps in for him using the new Ginga watch, which works with his Mirade driver, and he becomes Waz Ginga finally, and decides to do his little announcement thing for himself.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight. To be honest, like it was kind of fun. Like she throws the manhole, and then it cuts the gate, and you see him just like catch it, take it off, and throw it aside. I was like, oh, nice job, continuity. As for Sogo not being able to finish the job, basically, I'm like, that's pretty much a Kiba moment right there too. I mean, that damn church is a fucking like it's shown up so many times in Kiba, but not Gates.
Waz.
Waz's like rider kick that was interesting. It's a little like CGI heavy, but that thing seems a little busted. Don't you think?
Oh yeah,
I mean, I kind of like how
it's
the new riders are used. like whoever has capes have started to use their capes to do shit, right? So like Brave has it, and it does kind of like the like energy attack, and like Knight has the drill thing, and like Waz can basically like teleport you with it and stuff. So it's like, oh, it's kind of cool that they use their capes and stuff for that. But go ahead.
I was gonna say like yeah, his like Ginga is exactly what I expected to be, which is no different from Waz's other forms, but just stronger to justify it being his final form.
Thoughts on Ginga Decade?
Well, the jingle was kind of lame, but
Yeah, I
in
was
terms
kind of
of
let down.
power, is pretty good, and it's not super ugly, so I'm fine with it.
Also,
And the rider kick was pretty sweet.
yeah, anyone else get like Forza Galaxy vibes from that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is such a Forza move. Go ahead,
It
Decade.
felt more like a Q Ranger thing to me. Just
Oh,
Yeah,
magically
yeah, it could be that
gaze, and then
too.
he rider kicks them.
I love that like when she's defeated, the monsters just turn back their weapons. So like Gaze is like using his buzzsaw on one of them, and it just disappears in front of him, and he's like attacking nothing.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Um, the it's weird. Like the last two power ups. Actually, that's not true. Even fucking Agito. Like he hasn't used the damn watches he's gotten, right? Like he didn't watch. Oh, actually, even Blade. He didn't use the Blade thing. He didn't use the
Are you talking
Agito
about
thing.
watches that Sogo didn't use?
Yeah, like he's gotten them, but he hasn't used it. He didn't use the
Uh,
Hibiki thing.
right.
He hasn't used the Kiva thing.
Agito, Ryuki, Blade, Hibiki. Um, he doesn't have Kabuto yet. Deno, Kiva. Used Decade, Double, O's, Forze, Wizard. No, he didn't use Wizard because Gaze used Wizard. Gaim. Uh, he hasn't. Wait, he technically hasn't gone Drive yet. Did he use Ghost? No, he didn't because Gaze used Ghost. So there's like 7 watches that he has not used. Some of which are because Gaze is the one using them.
In terms of the recent ones, I think they're just too lazy to make new
They don't.
suits, or
Yeah,
it's out of budget.
like why do they need to make new suits when Sogo already has upgraded forms stronger than those?
Fair point. Fair point. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna have a gimmick and you know you're gonna put all the riders, like I honestly don't like the fucking like, oh, you get the powers of the previous riders, because that's always a cop out. Like I would rather have the previous riders show up and just teach them like a move or a lesson or something, and like that just sticks with the character longer instead of just like a power up form, because you know the power ups are gonna go away once they get like stronger stuff. Um, but if you knew you were gonna do the stupid watches and you were gonna do like the writers, like you know how many of them are out there, and you know you're gonna
They
put all of
they
them in
have
the show.
toys
Like
for all of
they
them.
should, yeah, they should have made like the fucking form switching simpler, right? Like they should have made it simple so it's like, oh, it's relatively the same except like one or two things change on the suit, right? But it's like no, they can't help themselves. They
So
have to fucking make entire suits, which is stupid.
so kind of like Gaim had like the armor that like slid over the top of them. Like they should have just done something like that.
That would have worked, honestly, but the problem is like the folding armor on Gaim looked like ass every time they put on like the rider, like the previous rider armors for the most part.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no.
but
But like
but
that
yeah,
kind of
something
idea.
like that where it's like yeah, it just slots on top. Or I was thinking kind of more of like more like Xaid where it's just like actually Xaid's more of a headache to be honest. Like I think Gaim's armor swapping is probably simpler. I don't know. Like the smarter thing would have been like just kind of do like a single arm type of thing where it's like oh like your chest plate just changes like Kiva, like chest plate color change, eyes like the visor changes, the chest plate changes, and then you get like a weapon or something. Or like you get like an accessory type thing. So that would have worked because that would have been the simplest. So yeah, I think Kiva actually has the simplest one where it's just like it's just the eyes, it's just the chest plate, and then you get a weapon. So that would have worked. But
Uh,
whatever. Like they didn't do the smart thing. I mean, I guess that would have been a little too simple and boring looking for power up, but I'm like, at least you couldn't put more of them in the show to be more useful.
Quantity over quality, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so like the Kiva system is nice and the Gaim system's nice. The Forze, I think, actually has like a really interesting thing where it's like, for the most part, it's just a base suit, and then you get like a accessory that just mounts on top,
Right, and
right? Like the
occasionally you get
Gatling
a
gun.
form change.
Right, exactly. Where it's like that would, I mean, it's weird borrowing that from like another writers because like what do you get from half of them? I mean, like some of them you can get stuff, right? Like okay, what do you get from Blade? You get the energy shield thing when they henshin. What do you get from like Kabuto? You get like the clock up shit,
Right.
But like after a while, like some of them, it's like, what do you get from like Hibiki?
You
You
get
get
the
like
taiko drums.
exactly like the taiko drum thing. Um, so like some people it would work and some not. I mean, like I guess Ryuki, you could get a contract monster or
Ryuki, you just
something.
get Drag Rider.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like that's simple, but honestly, I would have liked them to give him like his own custom one because I would have liked them to be like, oh, it's as if he was in the show and he got a power up from that show,
Uh,
right?
like,
So he gets his own contract piece.
like,
He
like
gets
he
the
gets
Kiva. He
like
gets his own weapon.
he gets like a horse or
That's like a
something.
monster thing.
Like
Huh?
like he gets like a horse or something. Like
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool too. I mean,
Equi
like you could
Trotter.
get yeah, or he could get like his own dragon mount or whatever. So the thing is, like, there's some of them that's really interesting, but then you run into like Agito. It's like, what do you do there? You know,
Um,
um, Fies. I'm like, I mean, Auto Vajin would have been fucking
yeah,
great
you get
if
auto
you
vision from Fies. That works.
from Fies, right? Like, or something similar. That'd be cool.
Uh,
Um, what else we got? Deno. I mean, like,
we
just
don't need to go through all of
get.
them. Like we get the point.
I mean, it's fun, I guess, if you want. We're pretty much done anyway.
Uh, um,
But yeah, it's gonna start running into. I mean, like Gaim is easy. You just get an armor. Um, Wizard, I don't know. I mean, like it's gonna be a spell, but it's like which spell?
yeah, like which one? Drago time.
Oh, Dagger Time would be fucking cool. I was thinking like bind or teleport, but like Drago Time would be fucking awesome.
You just have like four
Um,
Sogos running around. Each one is using
yeah,
like a different like rider power.
that would have been fucking great. He's his own Sentai team. Gates is the extra member. Uh, that would have been fun. Right. And then, but then you run into like, okay, Forza, you just get rockets. Sure. O's, what do you get? Like, O's is weird. Do you go with the birth thing, where it's like, alright, do you get like a gun, or do you go for a metal thing? Oh, you know what he could get? No, we already gave him fucking auto Vajian, so I'm like, you can't get the damn bike.
No, but he could get
Um,
like one of the
the
fucking
scout.
yeah, one of like the eagles.
Right. That would be cool. Actually, the wizard one would have been like the familiar summoning would have been cool, but I'm like, yeah, Drago Time is so useful. It's like fuck that. Anything else not that useful. And Decade, I think, probably gave the best power up, which is just like it just extends and gives you more forms. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what Decade could give. Um, See, the problem then becomes like, what do you do for Drive, right? Because like
Uh,
Kabuto already gave you a power, like a clock up thing. It's like, what do you take from Drive?
he gets a tire on his chest,
Maybe,
or he just like summons a car. Drive as a car, right?
yeah, Drive as a car. Yeah, maybe the tire. Like, oh, you know what he could get,
What?
right? Because he does. Yeah, wait, did we give him familiars yet?
No. Wait, maybe from
Okay,
O's.
yeah, from O's. Like, if we can think of something else from O's, it would have been great if you got the damn shift cars from Drive because they all have their own personality, right? So they'd just be like running around doing their own shit. Um, that'd be cool.
O's had the tiger claws. Like, what if he just got that?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, O's also has I think like the birth system. Like, okay, fair enough. You could give Gates the O's like the birth system, so he gets like a better like gun form or whatever. Or maybe it just adapts the birth system where you can put on like four different attachments at once. You know that stupid scorpion thing. Um, that could work. And then coast is easy. It's just fucking the hoodie coast thing. Like pick one of the icons. Cool. There you go. Um, right. Did we miss any?
X-Aid?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, X8.
Um,
What do you get from X8?
Juju Burger.
Burger face. Oh my god. Um,
Uh,
actually, if you wanted to combine like, nah, they already had the. I mean, technically, you could just get an AI thing where it's like, all right, then you just combine Drive and Xaid, where it's like, oh, you just got an AI companion. But I'm like, oh, that's a little weird. Bird. That would be too nice. Unlikely to happen. Um.
oh wait, no, he gets a level 1 form.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be fun. It just
Chibi
powers
Zi-O.
down. Chibi Zi-O, yeah, that'd be fucking great. Um, Kuga, what does
Okay, so
Kuga?
I was thinking about this one while you were talking. Kuga is
Yeah,
like you do like the gold power up thing for him, and Kuga is like an actual power up form.
that would be cool, honestly, because it's the first one that has that. Um, you know what would have been cool? Just give him the Mazio power up and be like, no, I
Okay,
choose to use this for
wait.
good.
When no joke, when this show started, I straight up said I want his final form to just be Omazio, but as a good
Yeah,
guy.
I wanted that too, but like, it's such a nice form too.
Like even if you change the
That's
colors a bit to make it more less evil, like I wanted that suit.
Yeah, that suit is so damn nice. Um, yeah, I agree. Kuga, it does make sense. I mean, technically Agito with infinite evolution, but that definitely makes sense. I mean, Agito, you could get Agito's bike because it flies, but I'm like, he already has a bike. Artovajin is the best bike, pretty much. So it's like, can you even compete? Like, yeah, Agito is like, what do you get? Maybe like
Uh,
an upgrade. Like
maybe
if
like
he
Maybe like one of Agito's weapons.
Yeah, I was thinking actually is like what if like either Gates or Tsukiyomi or like if we had like another human character and they decided like, oh, I need a power up too. Like if Tsukiyomi is like, fuck this shit, like Gates isn't doing what I want. I need a power up to beat this guy, and she just gets like a one of the another project like G3 gets a suit like that. That would be cool.
So Agito's power is
So this
just
is
turning someone into G3.
no, I mean like just another because when
Right.
G3X was being made, there were other suits, right? So like one of the other suits, and this also kind of feeds into like how Tsukiyomi has like the Fire's gun, and from like Drive, what you could actually get is Kiriko's like boots, which is basically like normal boots, but they have the ability to rider kick. Um, because like Kiriko doesn't get a rider suit, but she gets like power ups and stuff. I mean, she gets some special items, but then the show forgets that she has them, so it's like, oh, you fucking assholes. Um, but she gets like these pair of boots, which have basically the ability to do a rider kick in human form. I'm like, she could have gotten that. That would have been cool. Uh,
Alright.
did we run through all of them?
No, I think we missed build.
Oh, right. Um,
Yeah,
I
right?
say for
Like build has nothing and everything.
yeah, I mean it has a lot, but I'm like the only like the most interesting thing about build is hazard trigger,
Right, like Rabbit Rabbit is
right?
my favorite rider form.
Yeah, Rabbit it's really nice, but it's like I feel like hazard trigger would be way more interesting as a plot device to get or something similar to that,
Like
where it's
something
like you
dangerous
use
to him.
yeah, like if you use this you might go crazy, but it's like you need this power up anyway. It's like that was such an interesting element of hazard trigger. Oh, we missed double also.
What? Oh,
Um,
double. Just give him Cyclone.
the bike.
No, like
Oh, the
the half.
cyclone.
Give him the Cyclone half.
Uh, I don't know. That seems like. I mean, technically, the smart thing would be to just get a gadget because like double has a lot of weirdo gadgets. So it makes sense. It'd be the simplest thing. Yeah, because like double has a lot of gadgets. O's has a lot of gadgets. Ghost has a lot of gadgets, but like, technically, like I think the from double the gadgets would make more sense. He just gets some random gadget because like it doesn't have to be an insane power up, right? That would have been so much more
Okay,
interesting if Zio was just like base form and then just using random stuff from different shows
okay. Then
trying to compete. Yeah,
give him doubles stag beetle gun, right?
yeah.
With the trigger memory in it.
Oh, that would be cool. I was thinking like the bat or some information
Camera back
and
could also
stuff.
be
So
useful.
yeah, yeah. Um, right, like it's the it would like the gun would be cool, but it wouldn't be the same show if we gave him the gun. Like Sogo couldn't be some high schooler dipshit running around saying I wanted to be king. It would kind of have to be at like a blade level of like no, this is fucking serious. You know, like I need a weapon to fucking defend myself. Like shit's going down, right? Like I gotta get to the bottom of this. Like it would have to be like at least Blade level of seriousness as a show. Whereas like Soga is a lot too easygoing to be running around with that. I would personally think. Like yeah, you could give it to him in like writer form, but I'm like the whole thing of like the weapons and gadgets and in Double is like you can use them in human form.
All right. We have one more note about for Zi-O.
Okay.
So, back at the coffee shop, everyone is celebrating and eating apple pie, but Sogo isn't feeling it. So Waz eats his slice of the pie, which I love that Waz is just super into apple pie. Sogo goes for a walk to clear his mind, runs into a girl having bike trouble. He helps her fix it, and then she does the like chin thing that his first crush did to him, and she gets on her bike and bikes away. And Sogo looks at her and sees like the similarities between her and his first crush, and a tear rolls down his cheek as the episode ends.
Holy shit, that was such a Kiva moment. Also, like as sweet as that scene is, my problem is like, okay, that can't be the same person because I'm like they've owned this bike for like 10 years and they can't put a chain on or something,
Right, like I
right?
don't think it's meant to be the same. Like, oh, that was the
Yeah,
real
yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Uh, I mean, it could have been,
I mean,
but I think it was more meant to be like, oh man, like she reminds him of the girl, and he wanted
I
to.
think it might have actually been like maybe there's a chance it's actually the right person.
Oh yeah, probably
Um,
actually. Now they think about it, like,
there's
because Yuko turned out to be psycho.
right, and then like the most interesting thing is the actress is Yuri from Kiva. So I'm like, holy shit, another Kiva cameo. Um, and the funny thing is she's wearing the sailor uniform. Like, okay, Yuri actually does wear one, but it's only in one episode, and it's the flashback of her coming back from school, going to see her mom. And Rook has fucking murdered everyone in that facility. And like she finally gets to her mom, she reaches out her hand, and her mom just like shatters into like a million pieces. Um, so I'm like, that's the only fucking time she wore that outfit. But that was in 1980, and that was before 1986. So like, yeah, in Kiva she does wear this outfit, but it is not like possible in writer continuity that that was the same person.
Right,
But it's cool to
because
have the actress back because yeah, it's like
she
30
was
years different.
1986, right? Like when
Well,
Sogo.
no, it would have been before that because like she was in high school when that happened. So that was like years before
Right, that
Kiva
was
1986 happens.
like yeah, right, like because Sogo was a kid, like this was early 2000s for this to no late 2000s for Sogo to fit in this.
Right, and then for Yuri it would have had to be in like early 80s.
So
So it's like yeah, 30
like
years.
there's no way it's the same person as Yuri, but same actress, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
All right.
But yeah, holy shit, I was not expecting her to show up. That was so cool. Um, so yeah, that was fun. Thoughts, Decade?
Yeah,
So
that was pretty great. And yeah, even though it's not Yuri, it's just interesting to think that like a lot of the people die in Kiba don't actually die because Kiba doesn't happen
right,
because of Xena
timeline
stuff. So
change.
that's nice.
Uh, yeah, this was a solid episode overall, even if it deviated from the Kiva stuff for a bit, and the ending like really sold it.
Yeah, I agree. Like the whole like bittersweetness of the two-parter. It's like yeah, that's pretty much the heart and soul of Kiva. Where it's like bad shit happens, you just gotta deal with it. Um, which was really well done, honestly. The Ginga stuff was like, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like it felt like it could have been its own two-parter because it had so much stuff with like the alliance with like the time jackers and stuff. Could have been its own two-parter, but it's like I guess they just don't have the episode count left for that type of stuff now. Kind of sad, but like
Right.
otherwise it was good. Not as good as the first episode, but not bad.
This show has like between 10 and 14 more episodes, and we're almost out of ride watches.
Right. So like at least, well, there's like Kabuto and Drive left, right?
And then
So that's
Deno.
4 episodes, 6 episodes. Yeah, yeah. So
I
basically,
stand by what I said before. Deno's last.
well, it makes sense because like when Deno shows up, it's like shit's gonna go down because like
Time travel, yeah.
time traveled, right? Like it'll either be like Omazio shows up and Deno shows up, or he finally gets Deno's power and goes to the future to kick Omazio's ass, or something like that.
I
So the
will
point is like,
become
yeah, Deno
you.
would have to be like, right, like so Deno has to be last.
Alright. So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Sorry we did not do the Build New World movie podcast last week. Some stuff happened, but we will try to reschedule that. We are also going to be looking to schedule a podcast for Kamen Rider Generations Heisei Forever. So we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.